Just finishing my breakfast. It's all done now. 8 minutes past 10. Welcome one and all to the Everything GM broadcast with me. And probably others as well. I hope that you're having a good day. I hope that you're doing okay mentally, physically. Give me your mental health out of 10, physical health out of 10. Make sure that you have drunk enough water. Make sure you have a drink in your hand. Make sure that you are sat back and relaxed and ready to enjoy this. Our, that's what that was. Okay. I was very confused by my Spotify playlist layout. Anyway. Make sure you are ready for this. Our reading stream. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've done a reading corner, and what a way to come back than for all of you horse lovers. I have a new way to love horses for you. It's gonna be great. So long as they're cartoon horses. I hope everyone is doing okay. If you're not doing okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm happy to have all of you here. Oh my goodness, the chat has been busy today. Alferg, Alex, Lucky, Taters, Hairone, hello. It's yeah, we play bangers in the intro chat. The intro music is just banger after banger. You know how we do it here. So what the fuck is going on here, man? I need to just get closer, you. There we go. Okay. I just want my lights. I want my light switch to be closer. All right. For everyone else, yeah, I'd love to know how your day's been going. What's been going on today? How have you been feeling? Yeah, we play nothing but bangers. Nothing but bangers. I mean, look at this one. Does this one not make you want to just chill forever? It's gonna be great. It's your first time being early to something? Well, really? Well, welcome. It's nice to have you. 5 out of 10, having food helped me. Good. I'm glad. I made Hairone PB&J today for breakfast, so... my mental health is 2 hours of sleep out of 10. Physical health is also 2 hours of sleep out of 10. Your brain is eating itself. That's what's happening. Hope that doesn't make you feel weird. If you get fewer than 5 hours of sleep every night for a long period of time, your brain will start to consume itself to survive. It's pretty rough. Mental just watched Castle in the Sky and had an absolute blast out of 10. Very cool, very cool, very cool. A solid, I had to change doorknobs today out of 10. Okay. That seems alright. That seems alright. I was forced to be here. Wait. Blink twice if you need help. Why were you forced to be... What happened? Who is forcing you to be here? Not me. What's the rating on this one? The tots are kicking around. I want to know if they can come watch. No, this is not, apparently this has got, like, slightly more mature humor and a little bit of swearing, which is fine here. We welcome swearing in the Everything GM community. We believe that swear words are just like regular words. Other than that, I'm pretty sure it'll be okay. I don't think there's any, like... I genuinely think that the My Little Pony background for what we're gonna read today is really just a background. Like, I don't think it's the... based on what I read for the first time, like, the first story that we read about this is, like... was not, like, that at all. It could have been a regular love story as well. It could have been... like anything else. And I'm assuming the longer one is going to be the same. But that's all we have for you today, because no one else has been submitting anything. I can point to several of you who should be writing, including me. And none of you have, including me. Submit your damn writing, including me. I hope that you're ready for this reading stream. We shall have some fun today. Goodness. If I manage to write enough to warrant passing over, it shouldn't contain anything bad. You don't want to know my last few hours. Aw, what happened to your last few hours? My dog is trying to attack me. Oh no! Brain's gonna be hungry because there's not much left after the lifelong insomnia. Oh boy. Do you have a brain left? Do you have any brain? Please, sir, may I have some brain? Next up on the Ghibli list, my neighbor Totoro. Very much looking forward to that one. Been meaning to watch that one for years. I've seen Totoro. It is very, very good. It's a real good one. It's a real good one. I've only ever watched Ponyo and Howl's Moving Castle. I've watched Howl's Moving Castle. Haven't seen Ponyo. I think I've seen 2 Ghibli movies, and that is Howl's Moving Castle and Totoro. Spirited Away. I watched Spirited Away as well. And that's about it. I don't know how to submit anything, bro. I mean, well, if submissions are in the Discord. So if you're too young to join the Discord, then I'm afraid you're shit out of luck. But but I'm talking to the rest of them, not you. If you have writing, that's great. You should keep going. But I'm talking to the rest of the people. You are not responsible here. You are off the hook. Fable Caster, hello. Yes, Fable Caster is the author of this. Of the story we're about to read. This one contains some saucy humor and swearing. It is more firmly T-rated than the previous one. I mean, the name of the story should be indicative of the kinds of jokes this one has. We shall see when we get there. I was gonna write Wednesday, but I got distracted and EP. No excuse. Did I not just... Miss Alferg's father is becoming meaner? Wait, this is... What is happening? Are you having, like, a stream of consciousness moment where thoughts are just coming out? What's happening? Like, did that interrupt your train of thought, or... You took a nap. Okay, okay. We watched Pocoroso? Wait, we did? Which one was that about? I can't remember. Why is my name Lucky Stars? You choose your name. What do you mean? You type it in when YouTube is like, would you like to make an account? And you're like, yes. What is your username? And you type it in. I never take naps. Ah. But you took a nap. So. Okay. It was in response to you asking about my last few hours where you said I don't want to know. Oh, okay. That sounds pretty bad. About a pig pilot, I do not remember anything about that. Like, nothing about that. Okay. So it kind of feels... I feel a bit confused today. I don't know why. Like, I feel a bit like... I don't know, maybe it's just because I've just woken up, but I'm feeling a little strange. Alpha Listery in the VC and you're berating him in chat? Hang on. Alright, fine. I'll switch to berating him in voice chat. Why haven't you written anything? Why?
I was gonna write, and then I got distracted because I had to take care of some stuff, and then I wound up taking a nap, and I never take naps, so I needed it.
Wait, you never... So that means that, like, your body needed a nap? Right, okay.
Yes.
That's fair. But also, I'm sad because now I only have one story to read today, and it's your fault. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Sorry, I was thinking. It was like as soon as you started talking is when I started typing.
Do you want some coffee? Oh, honestly, yeah, that would be really nice.
Speaking of coffee, let me go grab an energy drink.
I would love some coffee. No, not an energy drink. That's poison.
It's a sugar-free one.
Not energy. But caffeine though. Have a cup of coffee rather.
It's only got 200 milligrams. I read an extra zero there for a second. I got very scared.
2 grams of caffeine. 2 grams. Yes.
I might as well just snort it at that point.
Would you like to die?
Do you want me to answer that question on stream?
Did I watch it with some other man then? No. No. Just I don't remember watching a movie about a pig pilot, alright? That's all.
Oh my god, speaking of caffeine, did you see the one TikTok of the woman figuring out how much caffeine she actually drinks in a day?
No? What? How
it
much?
Was absolutely wild because she went through the whole math of it.
Yeah.
Because the original math she did was based off of incorrect information for her current drinking habits.
Okay. Is there caffeine that we don't know is in the food that we eat? Like, is there caffeine that we're not aware of? Hello, Baron!
No. Because she was using numbers from instant coffee. And she was using that for cold brew coffee that she would get from an actual like coffee shop. And if you know anything about coffee, cold brew coffee is going to have a lot more caffeine in it than instant coffee.
I do know that, yeah. So how much caffeine did she have in a day?
I forget. It's been a long time since I've seen the video, but it was... It was in the it was like almost 1,000?
Wow. That's insane.
I want to say it was something insane.
I was gonna make Skittle right, but I don't have any me to put on teacher hat today. It's Saturday. It's okay. Well, it's Friday night for you guys, so that's fair. It's Friday night. It's okay. I drink energy drinks every day. I literally have to for my migraines. It's rough. Oh. Isn't it crazy how it's like my body does terrible things to me, and I have to do more terrible things to it for the terrible things to stop, and then that causes more terrible things. I'm so sorry, Taters. Oh, goodness. I want to play Gartic Phone again. Same. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But what a lovely segue into what we are doing today. So, if you were here a couple of a couple of reading corners ago, maybe, I don't know how long ago we did it, maybe a month, maybe a couple weeks. We read, I think, the first part of what was a My Little Pony fan fiction, a lovely romantic story between a man and his horse. And I think, actually, it wasn't specifically a man. The genders were left particularly, like, specifically neutral for a reason. And yeah, I think it was quite fun. We had a lot of fun when we read it. And now the same author has come out with a new, slightly longer version of a slightly different story, but it's in the same kind of vein, I think. Remember the story that we read was pretty cute. It was a very, I think the author's quote was slice of life, and I see in the tags here that it is called slice of life, which is just like a general everyday kind of story like you would find on a sitcom. So if that's what you're into, we're doing that today, and it's 9,000 words, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if we're gonna finish 9,000 words in the time that we usually stream, but we'll see. We will see. The name of the story is Netflix and Chill? No, not like that. I feel like I have to read it like that. And there's the first and only chapter, which is just under 9,000 words. So let's see. I'm gonna share my screen in a second. Another day, another failed job application. In other words, Andy is having a bad one. Lucky his equine housemates are there to brighten it up. Housemates, plural? Are we getting group action today? Oh boy. This is gonna be pretty wild. Also, so the content warning is this story touches upon subjects of depression and mental health. And then profanity. Our resident human drops a couple of bad words, but nothing too excessive. And then rated T for some saucy humor and bad language. Very good. Also, just letting you know, this story has 2,500 views. That's crazy. That's really impressive. Very cool. And 115 likes to 3 dislikes. That's really, really impressive. Great job on that. The comments are so nice. Everyone say you did a great job on the story. And a great exploration of human norms. The right kind of warmth that's good for the soul. Yeah, I love this. This is really cool. So, here we go. The first and only chapter. We're going to begin. I'm not sure. Ah, there we go. There's reading. And I'm going to quickly make my screen correct. Here we are. Alright, can I see this correctly? Yeah, so this is there we go. Just gonna put this over there. Put this over here. Put this over here. Author, do you have... Are you one of those fanfic authors that does like that has like music recommendations and things? Because we do have, unfortunately, I don't know if we can do that, but I was just curious because I know a lot of people who go quite in depth into their fanfics. And I also think for the purpose of stream we should probably zoom in a little bit. Let's try that then. Don't worry, we're getting there. Remember, kids, streaming is just video and sound editing live in front of everyone. And they get to watch you be slow and take your time at resizing windows. That's how streaming works. I'd encourage you to finish reading it, MJ. There's a cute surprise at the end of the tale. Well, that makes me want to skip ahead. I'm just kidding. Right, as I've said before, this is something that we've... this is an author that we've read before. Now we're delving into their more like their longer stuff and more sort of in depth. And here we go. Alfred, you were going to say something?
No, my stream was just being weird for a second.
You were being weird for a second.
My stream was being weird for a second.
Ah, okay. I was going to say, so very much not like normal then.
That is the definition of being weird, yes. I would say that you fit this definition right now.
Correct. Alright. Without further ado, if you were looking for some ados this stream, you'll be sorely disappointed.
Oh, that explains it.
Oh, I've been flashbanged. Hello.
And crash chuckle nuts.
It's very hot. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate this very much. Very cool. Alright, here we go. I've been given coffee from the gods. They've opened heaven and a mug of coffee came down from the clouds. Right, here we go. We read Netflix and chill? No, not like that. I have to read it like that. You have to imagine a laugh track in the background. The first...
I'll do your laugh track, hold on. Oh, you want me to laugh right now? You haven't said anything yet.
I'll be your laugh track. Hold on, and then I held on. Wait, oh, you're gonna be the... Okay, you ready? Netflix and chill. No, not like that.
Ah ha 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 ha.
See, but that makes it feel like the joke is like not actually funny, and it is kind of nice. So don't feel like we're making fun of you, Fable. We're just having fun.
I don't laugh very well. I apologize.
All right, the first and only chapter. Here we go. Letting out a groan of frustration through gritted teeth, I bring my fist down on the surface of the computer desk, hard. The impact knocks over the pencil holder and jostles the various pieces of decorative knickknacks I have on the desk, a single pencil rolling all the way off and clattering onto the floor. On the screen of my computer, staring back at me almost as if mocking me, is the email that is the root and source of my foul mood. Dear Mr. Anders, we thank you for your interest. It's another day, another failure at securing a job. These bastards were nice enough to send me an email, even if it is as boilerplate and cookie-cutter as can be. At least they copy-pasted the right name into their rejection mail, unlike that one place. I had to call them to make sure I had indeed been rejected, and the person I spoke to didn't even bother to apologize for the hassle. I considered deleting the rejection email, but ultimately think better of it and just file it into the appropriate folder I've made for them, just in case the employment agency wants to pester me again about still being unemployed after all these months. Ah, yeah, you need proof that you've searched for jobs. I lean back in my chair, stretch my back, and rub my face vigorously with my hands, trying to shake away the frustration. I attain, at best, limited success. Walking usually lets me clear my head, especially if I can lose myself listening to some fun audio drama while I'm at it. And I consider doing just that. My hopes of a nice long walk are dashed, however, after just one look out of the window. It's snowing. Not even just a little drizzle, no, but a proper downpour. And it's all sleet, too. Ooh, gross. A quick check on a weather forecast website confirms that's going to be the state of things for most of today. And a good bit of tomorrow morning, too. Great. Just great. I silently curse Murphy and his law to the lowest pit of hell. I spend the next 15 minutes staring at the list of games I have installed on my computer. Me! But in the end, I don't feel like conjuring up the effort required to play any of them. Alright, mindless YouTube entertainment it is then. Hey, I think you need some, like, product placement for this. If you're gonna promote YouTube like this, then I don't know.
Oh god.
Hang on. My chat crashed for a second, so I'm catching up if anyone was talking to me. Someone exorcised the demons from Lucky. Yeah, this is me IRL, by the way. This is what I do quite a lot, actually. The sound of keys turning in the front door's lock snaps me out of the almost trance-like state I've sunken into. A quick glance at the computer's clock tells me it's 4:15. Oops. Where did the last 4 hours go? They went into YouTube. You watched too many videos. Wilma, I'm home. Everyone knows what that sounds like, by the way. Everyone knows what da-da-da-da-da. Everyone knows that is what I'm home sounds like. It's a very interesting thing that we understand as humans. If we've been raised under the under the specific social conditions, that we kind of hear this, we read it in books, we hear it in TV and movies and the people around us, we've just kind of adopted that phrase. Specifically in the West, I'm sure, and in English, it works better in English. But I think it does absolutely apply in different languages and different cultures. Absolutely. So, no, this I'm home only applies in English as far as I know. But there is a certain, sing-song tones are contained in every language. And I'm pretty sure every language has their own version of this, that everyone just kind of... It might not be for I'm home, but this is very interesting because we just already instinctively know what this sounds like. Super cool. I hear the unmistakably chipper voice of Silver Comet call out from the vestibule of the house. This seems like a fancy house if it has a vestibule. I knew letting that unicorn see the Flintstones last night with him was a mistake. Oh, because it's Fred Flintstone. Ah. The things I do to get my regular fix of retro nostalgia. I'm a kid of the 90s through and through, after all. Same. I used to watch the Flintstones all the time. Maybe it's a 90s kid thing that we know what that sounds like. If you expect me to tackle you to the ground and start licking your face, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I call out back to him over my shoulder and hear him chuckle heartily. Wait, is that how humans greet their horses? Wait. Oh, when we say I, is I the human in this case, or is I the horse? The I'm home intervals are up the octave and then down a major third. Da da da. Da da da. No, there's no. Yeah, could be. Yeah. That sounds like octave and a major third. Yeah, that's true. No, that's what Fred Flintstone's pet dino does to him. Oh, it's still a Flintstones thing. Ah, okay, cool. I was thinking we were entering into that territory already. Like, not even 1,000 words in. No, we're in the Flintstones. Moments later, I hear his hooves clopping on the floor towards my room, and I swivel around on my chair to meet him. I'm greeted by the sight of a smiling, grayish-blue stallion with a short, neat, swept-back, spiky mane. Oh, he's got a mohawk. Cool. Tail of white, which both have a single, just barely visible stripe of silver in them. Ah, silver comet. I get it. Andy, buddy! He greets me cheerily and offers up his hoof for a bump, a gesture I'm more than happy to respond to. His tie, an unremarkable thing of shiny beige and purple stripes, already hangs only loosely around his neck. I know he hates having to wear the damn thing, but office dress code is office dress code, I suppose. At least they don't make him wear an entire suit. Damn, I forget the name of the company. Should really check up on that at some point. Wait. Office dress code is office dress code for horses? I have a feeling that the society has not considered our equine, like the equine participants in it, if they make them wear, like, suits and ties. Well, not an entire suit, but still a tie. I feel like they may have...
I forgot that you haven't watched My Little Pony. Some ponies wear actual clothes.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, I have not seen that at all. Had a good day at the office, I asked him casually, returning his smile as well as I could muster. Sorry, I ask. Specifically, this story is written in the present tense, which I think is very interesting. Oh, yeah, he practically beams at me. I think I fully nailed down how to type using 8 styluses simultaneously. I can now write as fast as you humans can using that touch typing technique. Oh my god. I can imagine this in my head. Like, 8 styluses... like, between the toes, and then just type... God, incredible. I let out a low whistle. From what Silver's been telling me, it takes a good bit of concentration to levitate multiple objects simultaneously. Oh, they're magic! Ah, okay. Even more so if you're doing something precise with them. Damn, dude, that's awesome. I know, right? He replies before reaching a hoof up to gingerly touch the horn on his head. Oh, he's a unicorn, that's why. His smile melting into a bit of a pained grin. Literal pain in the horn, though. But I think it's just a matter of getting used to it, like practicing your muscles for a sport. Either that, or I'll be making some pharmacy very happy with constant, massive purchases of headache medication. Just don't go and overdo it, Silver. He waves a hoof dismissively and gives me an amused roll of his ice blue eyes. Fine, I'll try not to, you worrywart. Speaking of you, how was your day? How was your day? Excuse me. Wait, there we go. I reply whilst making non-committal wibbly-wobbly gestures with one hand. Oh, I did that as well! See? We understand. We understand language, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this. I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to tell you why this is happening. I get the I'm home, I get the and I get this because this is well written. It is understood that the dialogue flows naturally, the scene flows naturally. This feels like I'm reading an everyday occurrence, which of course it is the intention. And a sign that it is written well for its genre and for its style is that I can just kind of flow along with it like I'm acting in it. And I can already tell what's coming because, just instinctively, because of how it is written. It operates on all of the tropes and other things and patterns that we see in this style and genre that are there, much like all the other things in this style that we read that are still present. This kind of slice of life type of story, these are very commonly occurring things. And so to understand that style and to have experience in that style means you get to write like this, and your reader gets to immediately, instinctively know what's coming, which I think is very, very interesting. The one thing I'm getting away from this by now, the one thing I'm taking away from this is that it is very easy to read. So, yeah, kudos to you, Fable. That good, huh? I swivel around with my chair and open up the email I got, rolling the chair then sideways out of the way to show it to him. Got one of these today. Plus 2 more places that were supposed to contact me if I made it to the next round of interviews, but shock and awe, I haven't heard a single damn peep from them either. Guess that means I didn't make the cut. Again. Silver trots over to the computer, scans through the email quickly, and then turns to give me a sympathetic smile. At least these ones sent you a message. And they got your name right, too. That's very cool. This shows that Silver is paying enough attention in the main character's life, Mr. Anders, I think, that that they think similarly. Like, Silver is saying the things that Anders was concerned about, like that Anders was thinking about up there, which shows that they have a close enough relationship that Silver can, like, instinctively say the right things. It really speaks to their relationship. This is a little dialogue cue that tells you that they are close. Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact it's just another impersonal cookie-cutter copy-paste message. Getting really tired of this constant BS. Bad word alert! How could you do this, Fable? You just haven't found the right place yet, Andy. Patience is a virtue. He practically sing-songs the latter sentence. I give a wan smile in return, turning then to just stare at the email once more in silence. If you don't know what a wan smile is, it's when 2 white people see each other on the street, and they greet each other. They just go. It's that. It's not a smile. It's like a, what's up? It's one of those. Okay, he begins, patting me on the thigh with a hoof to get my attention once more. I know just the perfect cure for a sour mood. Netflix and chill. Wait, what? He makes the proclamation proudly with one forehoof raised skywards. Now, here's the thing. If I hadn't read the title, I would know. I would suspect something. But I feel like it's going to be, wait, no, not like that. Also, I think my chat crashed again, so I'm going to quickly scroll up a little bit. Do note the story does not contain the romance tag. Yes. No, I know. I just like telling jokes about fanfic. Wait, what does Klopp mean for your friends in middle school, Alferg?
You don't want to know.
Okay, well, fair enough. Present tense is interesting because it's so hard to keep track of for me. Yeah. Hey, it is a unicorn. Yeah. Also, ponies have no toes. That's true. Yeah. Horsatilism. Okay.
That sounds much better than capitalism.
Yeah, horsatilism sounds better. Yeah. Okay. I guess also worth noting is that the story is the subgenre of ponies on Earth, which means exactly that, equestrian ponies who've emigrated to Earth. Gah. And they're taking all the jobs of the humans? This is terrible. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try this coffee. Oh, it's perfect. That's lovely. Thank you, Hyoon, if you're still watching. That is delicious. All right. I, meanwhile, can just about feel the proverbial wrench bringing the gears in my head to a grinding, screeching halt upon hearing his words. A heat rises on my face in what must be the mother of all blushes as I turn to look him in the eyes, searching for any hint that he's joking. Nope. Not a single hint of a joke on his face. Just that innocent, cheery smile of his. I managed to gather my wits enough to work my jaw into like a goldfish on dry land, though no sound yet escapes from me aside from a tiny little squeak. I mean, yeah, you've just been accidentally propositioned by a horse or a unicorn. I would say that that's an appropriate reaction. My absolutely flabbergasted expression clearly confuses and worries him, and he tilts his head to one side in that adorable way these magical talking ponies tend to do. One ear flopping as he says, What? Andy, buddy, please use your words and talk to me. Do you... I manage at length, my eyes still probably wide as saucers. Then the hammer of realization hits me. Oh boy, he probably doesn't know what exactly he just went and suggested. I begin again after clearing my throat. Do you know what you just said to me, Silver? What do you think you said then? The same thing we do several times a week? Several times a week? Watch things from that Netflix service and just unwind and relax on the couch. Unwinding and relaxing are the very definition of chilling, correct? I can see a faint rosy hue rising on his cheeks, as well as mounting embarrassment. Yep, he clearly has no idea what he just went and said to me. Bless his pure, innocent, equine heart. He must have heard the term somewhere and taken it literally. Silver, I begin, and then pause to take a steadying breath, trying to maintain a neutral expression, despite the grin that's tugging at the corners of my mouth. I bet his expression will be worth seeing when I drop this bombshell of information on him. Netflix and chill is a slang term, and it means... well, it's a kind of circumspect way of suggesting having sex with someone. His whole body stiffens, his eyes go wide, and the faint blush he had flares up until his whole face is practically tomato red. Oh, well, that would explain the strange looks I got from my co-workers during lunch. That's great. What did you do? I asked, my tone that of a parent or a pet owner whose ward has just done something they shouldn't have. I heard Peter mention that he was going to suggest some of that Netflix and chill thing to his girlfriend this weekend. The others at the table around seemed to approve of this, so I mentioned that, well, that I enjoy that particular activity several times a week with my housemates. Incredible. It's a tryst. It's amazing. I can't keep my poker face up any longer. I break into a nigh hysterical belly laugh, almost sliding off my chair as I gasp and wheeze for breath. By the time I've managed to recover, wiping tears of mirth from my eyes, I see Silver is sitting on the floor with his forehoof crossed over his chest, and his cheeks puffed in what has to be the most adorable pout in the history of ever. Yeah, laugh it up, why don't you? He grumbles, the blush on his face clearly visible, and if possible, even more bright red. Sorry, Silver, but you have to admit that is pretty fucking funny, I reply, whilst reaching over to pat him on the shoulder. My sides ache from all the laughing, but it's a good pain. I really needed that. First of all, language, mister, he says while fixing me with a stern gaze from the corner of his eye. Slowly then, his frown melts into a smile, and he gives a chuckle before adding, but yeah, now that you mention it, that is pretty funny. Oh boy. The next few days are probably going to be really, really awkward at the office. Only if you let them be. Huh? I reach over to tussle his mane a little. You just have to own it now. Act like it's no big deal that you have wild, raunchy threesomes with your housemates on the regular. Oh, so there are 3 of them. Okay, cool little writing cue that I know how many people there are there. Don't actively bring it up in conversation, though. If someone else brings it up, deflect casually if you can and just own it if you can't. They'll drop it eventually. You might, however, walk away with the reputation of either a Casanova or a sex fiend, and that's something you'll just have to live with. Or would you rather admit to making a mistake and confessing your ignorance of human culture and lingo? I finish with my best roguish smile and a raised eyebrow. Yes! Go with the lie. Don't admit that you don't understand things and ask for clarification. Just go with it. He ponders my words for a moment, tapping his chin with one hoof before mirroring the devilish smile I have with one of his own. By Celestia's sun-kissed throne, you make a terrifying amount of sense. Andy? Okay then, I'll follow your advice. If nothing else, it should be good for a few chuckles. Just let me know how that one progresses, okay? Count on it, buddy. Celestia is the place where holy people gather in D&D. It is a place of paladins and clerics, and now apparently it is a place of ponies. And my understanding of the D&D realms and dimensions has forever shifted. As a plane of existence, Mount Celestia is now also Ponyland. Very good.
It's not just the sun. It is specifically the pony queen of the sun.
Oh boy.
Okay, yes, princess. I couldn't remember if she was princess or a queen.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, Azure Nimbus, hi! Welcome. Sorry, my chat breaks every now and then, so I can't actually read a lot of the messages that are sent. But welcome. Pull up a chair and help us give feedback for this story that we're reading. It's great. Let's see. Celestia is the princess of ponies, the one who raises the sun. Do you raise the sun, bro? Do you raise the sun? Okay. A silence, though not an uncomfortable one, settles into the room. Silver is the first one to break it. Sir, you still want to watch some Netflix with me? I've been waiting all darn day to be able to just get off my hooves, relax, and watch more of that Star Trek show. Wait, Star Trek Discovery on Netflix? I love that show. It was great. Yeah, sure, I'd love to. Want me to make some sandwiches to snack on while we watch? I reply, choosing not to poke any more fun at his little verbal mistake. He perks up immediately at that and practically shoots up onto his hooves, that warm smile of his right back where it belongs. Please and thank you. I'm starving. What's our dinner policy for tonight? Will you be cooking something again? Nah, not tonight, I say with a shake of my head. Willow said she'd be picking up something from our regular Chinese takeaway joint on our way home. She said they'd updated their menu and she was dying to try some of the new things out. Chinese food. I love Chinese food. I can live with that. She knows what I like anyway. He nods. Is it any wonder that she does? You two are basically inseparable, I say as I stand up from the chair and together we head onward to the living room. I still find it hard to believe Willow, or Willow Song as her full name goes, and Silver aren't a couple. Also, they keep insisting. They have to be the most coupliest non-couple that I've ever seen. Nor are they related. Just full-hood friends, as Willow put it when they first moved in with me. How the tables have turned over the course of the year that I've known them. Originally, they moved in as subtenants to my house, having just emigrated from Equestria through the portal that opened up at, of all places, Stonehenge. Wait! Lore! I was not expecting this lore! Oh, wow. A portal opened up at Stonehenge and ponies came through from Equestria. This is great. Silver once explained to me that the portal's location had something to do with ley lines or whatever. I tend to blank out when he starts talking magical jargon to me. It's just too baffling for my poor non-magical human brain to handle. That is awful. If someone were talking about magical jargon to me, I would never stop listening. I would focus forever. Especially if it was real and, like, tangible in front of me. Then about 6 months ago, I lost my job. Company had to cut costs, and just my luck, I was let go. Capitalism. Silver and Willow had found steady jobs by then, and had saved enough money to move into a bigger place. Without a job, I wasn't going to be able to hold on to my old house for too long. So they kindly invited me in as a subtenant for their new place, and at a very reasonable price, too. Heck, they would have let me stay for free, but I insisted on paying at least something. Upon entering the kitchen, I snap out of my thoughts. I gather the ingredients I need and set to work. Whole grain bread, a bit of margarine, lettuce, tomato, cucumber, and sliced mozzarella with just a touch of rock salt and freshly ground pepper for flavor. Another buttered up slice of bread on top, cut into triangles, and done. It's nothing too fancy, but tasty nonetheless. Wait, I thought Chinese food was for dinner. Hold on. Wait, what's happening? Are we doing lunch before dinner? Is this just because horses eat a lot? Yo, Silver, what do you want to drink with your sandwich? I shout into the living room. Do we still have orange juice? I check the fridge, and yes, indeed, there's almost a full carton. I plonk it on the table next to a pair of glasses and shout back a simple, yep, that then, thanks. I load up the 2 plates and the 2 glasses filled with OJ onto a serving tray, thankful that we have one to begin with, and head off into the spacious living room. Most of the room is dominated by a massive light grey sectional sofa, which, if needed, can be opened up for even more space to laze on. A small coffee table next to the sofa, a couple of armchairs that match the couch, and a large flat-screen TV form the rest of the furnishing. And a fireplace, of course. Silver and Willow were very particular about getting a house with an actual fireplace for whatever reason. It's for their fire magic. I place the tray down on the coffee table, noting that Silver has already made himself comfy by curling in one corner of the couch, legs partially tugged under his body, and his head resting against a stack of pillows. He's also finally done away with his tie, having clearly just discarded it onto the table haphazardly. Dig in, I say with a smile, gesturing at the sandwich I made for him before grabbing the remote and navigating to Netflix, Silver having been kind enough to already turn on the TV. He nods his thanks and gingerly levitates one half of his sandwich over to himself, keeping it firmly wrapped in the ice-blue aura of his magic to prevent any crumbs from falling onto the couch. It's his ability to do things like that which makes me kind of envious of him, but at the same time, I'm not sure I'd want to trade having hands for magic. I greatly enjoy my opposable thumbs, thank you very much. I don't know, man, if I had telekinesis magic, it'd be a pretty difficult decision for me.
I'd be so lazy.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever do anything again. I would... Idly, I click through the Netflix menus until I get to the continue watching section. Select Star Trek The Next Generation. Oh, it's TNG. Okay. And hit play. Another blast from my past. Another fix of good old nostalgia for this junkie. I'm just glad Silver likes the show as much as I do. So far, so good. We watched through an episode in companionable silence, munching happily on our sandwiches. Oof, pause. I need to use the Little Stallions room. Oh my god. The Little Stallions room? Silver exclaimed just as the next episode is about to begin. Sure thing, man. Don't take too long, though. If memory serves, this is one of my favorite episodes. He hauls himself off the couch and towards the downstairs bathroom, leaving me to sit on the couch in silence. Wait, if you have telekinesis powers, do you have to leave to go to the bathroom? Can you not just
MJ,
like...
are you going to float your pile of
Can you just...
crap
Can you just,
across the house?
do it with telekinesis? Do you have to go? I don't know. I feel like, especially without opposable thumbs and hands, like, that sounds like a bit of a mission, to be honest.
MJ craps into his hand and carries it to the bathroom.
You gotta check. Yeah, you gotta make sure that it's... I instinctively reached for my phone, only to realize I must have left it on my computer desk. I debate whether or not I should go and get it, but Silver will be back soon, most likely, and so laziness prevails in the end. And that's just the problem, isn't it? Your own laziness. Yeah, that's why you can't get a job. You aren't good enough, loser. The nagging voice in my head interrupts my thoughts. Fuck, not now. I try to chase the dark thoughts away by focusing on something. Anything else, but they persist. On a rational level, I know those intrusive thoughts are wrong about me, but with my mental health history being what it is, they resonate in a terrifyingly convincing manner on an emotional level. Leaning back, I bury my face into my palms and rub it, trying to calm myself down before I have an actual breakdown. I will not let that happen. The sound of blood rushing in my ears is like the roar of an angry waterfall, permeated only by the slowly rising tinnitus. Oh God! Is it any wonder you're alone, too? Sven ditched you because you are useless. Failure, leech, lazy, good-for-nothing little Everything all right, Andy? The concerned voice of Silver finally snaps me back to reality. I blink rapidly, trying to focus on my glazed vision before offering the unicorn a weak little smile and a mumbled, Yeah, I'm fine. The couch creaks as Silver hops onto it, sitting on his haunches next to me and looking at me with his head tilted. I can see he isn't buying my lie. Andy, buddy, he begins, lifting then a hoof onto my shoulder. Please don't lie to me. It's plain as day something is bothering you. Is the rejection letter getting to you? I remain silent for a long while, hunched over, leaning onto my knees and studying the shaggy carpet with keen interest. Should I tell him? Do I want to shove my baggage and my burdens onto his shoulders? Don't keep these things bottled up inside until something breaks, Sanders. It's not healthy. You've said it yourself that talking helps, so in the future talk to someone if they're willing to listen. The words of my former therapist echo in my mind. Silver's hoof has remained on my shoulder through my entire inner monologue, though at some point he started to move it ever so slightly in a gentle rubbing motion. It feels nice. I turn to look at him once more, trying to get a read on him and seeing nothing but what looks like genuine concern for me etched into his equine features. I let out a deep sigh and reach up to pat him lightly on the fetlock. What is the fetlock? What part of a horse is a fetlock? Also, be right back. Okay. The email is part of it. I begin at length, shifting my eyes back onto the carpet. In truth, it's just the cherry on this shit sundae. I snort, shaking my head lightly. It's all so stupid, though, and I feel stupid for not even bringing it up at all. It's not stupid to talk to a friend about something that's bothering you, Andy. I'm here. I'm listening. Another pause, though a shorter one this time, as I try to gather my thoughts and put them into some sort of coherent order. I take a deep breath and nod. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before that several years ago I used to suffer from depression. Saw a shrink, had the happy pills, the whole damn 9-yard gamut that came with it. I did get better after a while, though it took a lot of hard work, but that stuff never really goes completely away. It keeps on lingering like a shadow in the back of your mind. It takes almost constant vigilance to keep the damn thing from resurfacing. The longer I go, the easier it seems to get, almost like a steam locomotive building up momentum. I pause, my brow furrowing in a deep frown. After losing my job, however, it's been progressively harder to keep my head above the water, so to speak. Every failed application, every rejection letter just feels like another weight trying to pull me under. To keep the same metaphor going, I'm just treading water, not achieving anything, just not going anywhere. Empty, hollow existence just for the sake of existing. Silver doesn't say anything, and a quick glance from the corner of my eye lets me see his ears are perked up attentively. He really, truly is listening. It's a genuinely comforting thought. Sometimes that's all you need. Just someone to listen. Then there's the fact that I feel like I'm taking advantage of you and Willow's kindness and generosity. My eyes are prickling and burning as I say that, but I know there won't be any tears. I haven't been able to cry in years now, and trust me, I've tried. How fucking messed up and broken must someone be if they can't even cry? That elicits a response from Silver, who shakes his head slowly. His voice is soft as he simply replies, "You're not." But that's what I feel like. That's why I keep doing all the cooking and cleaning and yard work around here, to make myself feel less like a fucking parasite leeching off of your kindness whilst living under your roof for barely a pittance of what it must cost to upkeep a house this size. My words finally fail me, and I simply bury my face once more into my hands. Still leaning my elbows on my knees, I feel shivers of raw emotion running through my whole body. A pair of hooves wrap gently around me as Silver pulls me into a hug. I almost shy away from it at first on reflex, but in the end I stay put right where I am. Another shiver runs through my body. He feels so very warm and soft, pressed up tight against me. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Now, you listen to me and listen closely, Andy. You are not a parasite, and you most certainly are not taking any kind of advantage of us. Got it? He tightens his hug just a little bit, resting his cheek against the back of my head before continuing. When we first came to your world, you took us both in, even though you were only looking for just one housemate. You helped us get used to human rules and customs. You spent so many hours of what little free time you had to help us find jobs. And then... Silver sniffs, clearly getting a bit emotional himself. And then when our bits ran out faster than we had anticipated and we were penniless and still hadn't found jobs, you didn't kick us out. You waived our rent entirely and paid for all our food too. You did all of that out of the sheer kindness of your heart, expecting nothing in return, and for that, we are forever, and I mean that as literally as I can, grateful to you. I manage a faint smile and a chuckle. You give me too much credit. I offered that room for the both of you, despite what my ad said, simply because I was curious about your kind. It's not every day you see walking, talking magical ponies out here in the cold north. Ever since we were little, both me and Willow have enjoyed winter the most. Our favorite season by far, so this cold north was actually just perfect for us. I finally reciprocate the hug by wrapping one of my arms around him and squeezing him softly against myself. As for that other thing, there was no way in blue blazing hell I would have kicked you two out onto the streets, in freaking November, no less. I couldn't have lived with myself had I done that to two sweet and innocent and kind creatures such as they are. But I don't say that part out loud. He pulls back away from the hug to look me in the eye, though his hooves remain lightly on my shoulders. Have you talked about this to any of your other friends? I give a little shake of my head. No. Haven't actually seen my friends in what must be months by now, and it's been almost as long since I've even heard anything from them either. Bert and Patricia just had their firstborn a few months ago, and I get it that will keep them quite busy for a while. Eric, meanwhile, is swamped running his business, and I don't know what the circle means for A's. I'm gonna say Ake. Just recently started his stand-up tour across the country. So yeah, life happens. At least to some. I finish, unable to keep the vitriolic edge completely away from my tone. Silver's ears droop. Sure. Silver's ears droop, and he turns his gaze to the floor, his hooves finally dropping off my shoulders. I can sympathize with that, Andy. I haven't heard anything from my friends, those few that I have in Equestria, since I came through the portal. Shh. Oot. I catch myself before swearing this time. I never even thought about that. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. He straightens his back, puffs out his chest, and forces a little smile onto his muzzle. Don't worry about it. I knew it was a possibility when I decided to come with Willow into your world and make my peace with it as best I could. Besides, his smile turns a bit more warm and genuine. I've made new friends in here, and one of them is a very, very dear one, too. Oh, please, you're making me blush, I reply with a good-natured roll of my eyes, though I can't help but feel the tips of my ears heating up a little bit. We share a light-hearted chuckle that disperses the last vestiges of gloominess from my mind. So, want to watch more Star Trek? I think we got enough time for one more episode before Willow gets home, Silver asks, nudging his head towards the TV set. Sure thing. I reach for the remote and hit play as Silver shifts on the couch, but rather than curling up in his usual corner, he instead sidles up right next to me and flops down. He's pressed right up against me with his chin and one hoof on my thigh. I can't help but smile a little bit. The way he's laying there actually reminds me of my parents' old Rottweiler. Come to think of it, Rex used to do pretty much this exact same thing whenever I was watching TV in the living room, flopping his head on my thigh and pawing at it, demanding pets and scratches. At least Silver doesn't drool, I hope. Wait, what is the line between pet and housemate? Hold on. A content nicker from Silver brings me back to reality. I hadn't even realized I'd started idly scritching the unicorn's neck. Seems like Rex, rest his soul, managed to pull a reverse Pavlov and conditioned me quite thoroughly. That feels nice, Silver mumbles, his eyes half-lidded. A bit lower and to the left, please. Sure. Sorry, I mumble. On-screen, Captain Picard is performing one of his many legendary face palms, mirroring my inner self perfectly. Okay. Oh, you have nothing to apologize for, Andy. Please, do keep going. If you'd like, that is. I nod and carry on, working my fingers through the soft fur on his neck towards the spot he indicated. The long, drawn-out, and thoroughly content groan slipping out of his muzzle tells me I've found my mark. Silver even cranes his neck to push himself further into my fingers, his tail swishing and thumping in what I can only assume is delight against the cushions of the couch. Okay. Alright, so. I have to say at this point, I've been reading for a while without pause or without stopping to, like, give feedback. And there's a specific reason for that. I find that this writing is... I think probably the best thing about it is that it speaks for itself. You don't have to think too hard to really get into it. I think it's just genuinely really well thought out. I think that the narrative and the story, I think that the story has had so much thought given into it that it just kind of flows very naturally. And I find I have very little to say about it because it just flows that smoothly. Yeah, I love this. This is so cool. The smoothness of it is definitely something that is how do I put this? It's jumping out at me. It is very easy reading as well. I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but it is very simply written, which is a good thing. I know that when people say things like simple, they mean bad, but when I say it, I mean it's a good thing. It means that anyone could read this, and you don't have to think too hard to read it, and you don't have to analyze too deeply because it's all there for you. It's very easily accessible reading, and it's very easy. The gates of heaven have opened again. It's very easily accessible, and it's very, very easily relatable, like Tater said. And I don't have to, it's great. This is really, really cool. And so I really have nothing to say in terms of, it's not even feedback, because obviously there's always going to be feedback, but in terms of like how I'm feeling about the story, it speaks for itself. It just kind of, you just kind of read it and it's there, and we know what's going on, and I'm finding myself caught up in it quite easily, which makes it makes it more difficult to break away and actually look at it from above. I'm just reading it now. Like, I could just be reading it. That's what it feels like. Instead of me reading it for other people, it just feels like I'm just reading it. It's great. Oh my goodness. So yeah, thanks for this, Fable. This is a really, really, really good read. And it's well polished too, which helps with the immersion. Yes, this doesn't feel like a draft. This is a fully completed project, and it does show. It shows that a lot of thought has gone into making this as a smooth an experience as possible, and I have not felt taken out of the action, so to speak, once. Not once have I been, like... Yeah, not once have I felt like I want to, like I want to stop, or not once have I seen in the middle of this that there's like maybe a sentence or a turn of phrase that pulls me out of it. It all feels like it belongs in the passage. It all feels like it should be there. Yeah, so very, very good. Very good understanding of style and genre and tone and character work and dialogue, and it's just great. It's really, really, really good stuff. I love that we can find this kind of stuff. And I know that it sounds pretty boomer of me to keep pulling up the genre of My Little Pony, but it's so crazy to find just like that we can find such good writing and passionate writers everywhere, even in the My Little Pony fanfic universe. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like me as a regular, I suppose I'm fairly normie in that regard, to consider the breadth of skill that we have in so many different aspects of life is crazy to me. So yeah, this is awesome. Shut up and read, I want to hear more. Hey, your words hurt.
I'm sorry.
The creativity of the MLP fandom is staggering. I can imagine. If this is what it's like, then I don't know. Yeah. If this is anything to go on, then it's an insane community. It must be. Yeah, sure. The please helps. Okay. Right, here we go. I relent for a moment, running my palm over the spot I was scritching to smooth down the fur, which in turn pulls another content little knicker out of Silver. I needed to say that very specifically and slowly. I look down. We lock eyes. He gives me a relaxed smile and stretches a bit, rubbing his cheek against my thigh in the process. A wordless exchange takes place, with me lifting one of my eyebrows questioningly, and Silver answering with a slow, content nod. This seems very sensual. And so I continue, alternating between scritching and petting his neck, and even venturing so far as to scratch behind his ears, which he seems to enjoy greatly too, to the point where he's practically putty in my hands. Are you sure you're just friends? I get the distinct feeling we might have to rewatch the current episode, though, as Silver seems to be somewhere in the vicinity of Cloud 9. Does it feel that good to you? I asked after I'm no longer able to contain my curiosity. Silver cracks open an eye and looks up at me with a slightly embarrassed grin on his face. I may have been exaggerating a little bit, just for funsies, but it does feel really, really nice. Heck, if I had known how nice this is, I would have asked you to do this ages ago. He rolls onto his back and casually drapes his front hooves over his belly, giving me a kind of dopey smile. I'm just about to answer when the sound of hooves clopping down the stairs interrupts me, and soon enough, Willow Song enters the living room, a silvery thermal bag, which looks quite full, firmly held in her mouth. See, me, thinking that she had it draped over a hoof, did not understand the full dynamic of the equine body. She must have entered through the window in the spare room upstairs. The advantages of being a Pegasus, I suppose. Oh yeah, because mouth can't open the door. Okay, cool, I get it. I was so confused. Her lemon-white coat and sky-blue tail glisten with rapidly melting frost, though luckily it seems like the layer is so thin she won't be dripping all over the floor. To ward off the cold, she is wearing a red and white striped bobble hat and a matching wool scarf. She lowers the bag onto the floor with a bleh sound, pulls off her hat and scarf, and then rears up on her hind legs to lean against the back of the couch, her lavender eyes staring down at Silver, who still has his head on my lap. Willow smiles, first to me and then to Silver. Well, some pony sure is looking cozy. Some pony, I remember this from the first one. Ah, incredible. This is good. I I like this. Chuckling, Silver wrenches himself up into a sitting position, and the two of them give each other a downright affectionate nuzzle by first gently booping their snouts before leaning further to rub their cheeks together. Like with most things these colorful little ponies do, they look heart-meltingly adorable doing it, and I can't help but smile. Their little display of affection holds so much genuine tenderness and care towards one another that I find myself yet again questioning their claim that they are not a couple, especially considering the events of one evening a couple weeks ago. Oh, we're getting a flashback? Wait, we're getting a flashback? Okay. Also, I've just been given a message. You could have given me this in chat. Like, it would have helped everyone else learn how to pronounce it as well, Fable. The letter A with a circle over it is pronounced very much like O. Okay, cool. So, like, ah? But when you say O, do you mean O or ah? See, there are two pronunciations for the letter O as well. I need help. Give it to me in a word, rather. Okay. Bit of a break. And then we move into a flashback. Wow. This is cool. Oh, it was late. Well past 10, at least, and I'd been busy going through the boxes full of my stuff that was stored in the spare room upstairs, seeing how I couldn't fit everything from my old house into my new room, and couldn't afford to rent a storage space. I don't recall what I'd been looking for. DVDs, maybe, but it had taken me quite a while to find it, whatever it was. Quietly, I closed the spare room's door and tiptoed down the dimly lit, almost pitch-black hallway towards the staircase, not wanting to make noise in case Silver and Willow had already turned in for the night. Silver's door was closed, but Willow's remained slightly ajar, and I could see the faint glow of light spilling out. From the lava lamp she had on her nightstand, probably. A noise, almost like a strangled cry, caught my attention just as I was about to pass by her bedroom, and I froze. Was she crying? Had something happened? My hand rose, and I was just about to knock when I heard her cry out softly again. Though now I was actually paying attention, and it sounded more like a moan? Oh boy, tread carefully. I know for a fact Silver and Willow sleep in the same room quite often. Not always, not every night, but often enough. I felt my cheeks flushing as I realized what the combination of dim moonlighting, her moans, and the quiet soft shuffle of bodies shifting on bedsheets implied. Oh no! I don't know what devil possessed me in that moment, but much to my shame I was overcome with curiosity. No! He wanted a peep? I simply had to get a peek. Oh god. Just to make sure she was in fact okay and not in any distress. Yeah, I'm sure that's what you were doing. Or so I rationalized it for myself at the time. Ever so slowly and carefully, I leaned over to peer through the crack in the door, making absolutely sure I didn't so much as touch the door lest my snooping be discovered. I saw the king-size bed Willow had that practically dominated the entire bedroom, and I saw my two housemates laying on top of it, engaging in something I was certainly not expecting. Silver and Willow were laying on their bellies, almost side by side, with Willow resting her head on her forelimbs, her eyes closed in relaxation, and her mouth hanging slightly ajar. She had one of her wings extended over Silver's forelimbs, whilst the stallion was buried muzzle deep into her wing feathers. Whatever he was doing, it seemed like Willow was enjoying it greatly, as she let out another slightly louder moan. What is happening? It was at that point I came to my damn senses and decided I'd seen quite enough. Utilizing all the ninja skills I'd learned by playing video games and watching movies. Dodge roll? Are we going to get a dodge roll? I sneaked away to the staircase, leaving the two of them their business. Thank goodness the staircase in this house is built sturdy and doesn't creak. By the time I reached the bottom of the stairs, I felt a mischievous idea forming in my head. A chance to have a bit of harmless fun at their expense. I strained my ears, and sure enough I could hear Willow letting out another groan of contentment even from where I was standing. I counted to 5, planted my hand on the handrail of the stairs, and called out, "Guys?" There was a pause, and then I heard Silver reply, "Yes, Andy?" I can hear you two, you know. Look, it's your house, and you can do whatever you want in it, I get that, but if you two are going to have sex, could you at least close the door, please? With considerable effort, I managed to keep my tone mostly neutral, with just that appropriate hint of exasperation for having to bring the whole subject up at all sprinkled in. I'm getting a phone call. No, I'm not. I heard Silver sputtering and stammering. But we're not... Sorry! Willow shouted, and then I heard the door slamming shut. I had to bite on a finger to keep myself from laughing out loud as I made my way to my room. My mission of mischief completed. The following morning, at the breakfast table, I was met with two very embarrassed and very blushy ponies. I, on the other hand, simply smiled politely at them, and still feeling mischievous, asked, "So, had fun?" Sure sounded like it. That was when, still blushing furiously and with their ears firmly pinned back, they explained to me what preening is, why it is so important, and how it can feel really good and relaxing when done right, almost like a massage. That's what I got. That's the vibe I got from them. I thought that it was, I thought it was a massage, but it was actually also a massage. Yeah, I was right. It's apparently a sign of great trust and intimacy from a Pegasus to let somebody else preen them. Ah, there are only a few instances where that privilege is usually granted, with the most common ones being parents while their children are still too young to do it probably by themselves, and between lovers. We're not really a couple, my ass. Silver flopping back down on his back with his head coming to rest on my thigh and his forelimbs once more crossed casually over his belly brings me back to the present day. Willow is still standing on her hind hooves, and she crosses her forelegs on the backrest of the couch, laying her chin on top of them with her elbows sticking out in a display that is remarkably human-like. "So," she begins at length, a soft little smile on her muzzle, "what's made you two get all snuggly?" "Andy was having a bad day," Silver replies, placing then one hoof onto his heart and looking very proud of himself. "So I decided to be his emotional support pony." "A silly pony is what you're being right now," I reply, and give his mane a light ruffle. He sticks his tongue out and blows a raspberry at me. Being the mature adult that I am, I give him one right back. Willow's tittering laugh interrupts us. "How about we agree you're both absolutely silly, "Fine, I can live with that, I suppose," I respond. "Fair enough," comes Silver's answer. Willow tilts her head to look at me, a mild frown of concern furrowing her brow. "But you're having a bad day, Andy? I hope it's nothing serious." I give a non-committal wave of my hand and grunt, turning to look at the floor yet again. Before I have the chance to muster up the energy and effort required to go through everything that's been bothering me again, I see Silver's horn light up and hear the unmistakable tingly sound of magic in the air. Turning my head, I see there's some sort of magical symbol, like a diamond inside a circle that is missing its bottom fifth, glowing on Willow's forehead, and her eyes have taken on a kind of glazed look. I know that symbol. Oh, is he communicating with, like, mind thing? Like telepathy? "Silver," I begin in a mock chiding tone, "what have we discussed about using telepathy? Hey, when there are other people around, I was right." About 3 seconds later, Silver ends the telepathic connection with Willow and gives me an apologetic smile. "Sorry, I just figured this would be quicker, and then you wouldn't have to explain everything all over again." Before I have a chance to do much more than shake my head and give a little smile at the unicorn, Willow shifts over, wraps her hooves around me, and gives me a tight hug, her damp cheek pressing firmly against mine. "Oh, sorry to hear all that, Andy. And I have to agree with Silver. You are neither a leech nor taking advantage of us. You hear me?" There's a surprising sternness in her voice, telling me she will brook no arguments whatsoever. I simply sigh and reach back to lightly scritch behind one of her ears, causing her to almost immediately lean into it with a contented little hum. "Yes, ma'am." She probably would have stayed there for quite a while longer if not for the sudden and loud growling of her stomach. The mare blushes visibly and disentangles herself from me, dropping then back down on all fours. Come on, you two, before the food gets completely cold." I'll set up the table. "Silver, could you bring the bag?" I say as I stand up and grab the tray from the coffee table. "Sure thing, buddy," he replies cheerily, hopping off the couch and then picking up the bag with his magic. Meanwhile, Willow gathers her scarf and hat and trots off towards the bathroom to hang them up to dry. Silver hops onto his seat and places the thermal bag onto the table as I go about setting down plates, mugs, and the assorted silverware for me and Willow, while Silver gets a pair of chopsticks. He's actually quite the whiz at using them, though I suppose telekinetic magic is a bit like cheat code in that regard. I agree, I think it would be a bit of a cheat code. As for me, I never learned to use the damn sticks, no matter how hard I try. "What do you mean? Chopsticks are not that difficult." By the time I'm done...
Some of us are a little slow, okay?
I mean, practice makes perfect, alright? Just keep going. By the time I'm done, Willow has joined us once again and hopped onto her seat. Whereas mine is more of a traditional wooden dining chair, theirs are more like wide bar stools with comfy cushions on top. The way they usually sit means they don't really need backrests, plus it's easier for them to just hop on and off without having to move the chairs around this way. Sure, it makes the decor look a bit lopsided, but who cares, right? Yes, this house is not feng shui. All right, let's see, Willow says, rooting through the thermal bag and pulling out various takeaway boxes with the text Jade Garden printed onto them from within. Ah, yes, stereotypical Chinese restaurant. The other one is Emerald Dragon. We got some stir-fried tofu with fried rice for you, Silver. Very nice! Oh, you do so know what I like, he replies with that boundless enthusiasm of his as he grabs the offered box into his telekinetic grip and proceeds to empty the contents onto his plate. And for you, Annie, some beef chow mein. She hands me a box, and I do much the same as Silver, quickly opening it up and emptying the contents onto my plate. The smell is absolutely delicious, and for takeaway, it doesn't even look too bad. Thanks, I reply with a warm smile. I'm just glad they're willing to indulge my omnivorous habits and aren't too squicked out whenever I eat meat. Granted, I've been leaning more towards a vegetarian diet like theirs ever since I met them, but I just can't drop meat completely from my menu. I've even lost some weight and slimmed down my figure since doing that, so hey, bonus. True, by the way, if you want to lose weight, trim down the meat that you eat. It does contribute a lot. And I'll tell you why, because meat, the protein that meat has, must be combined with the exercise that coincides with it. The point about eating protein is that it has to, if protein is not converted into muscle through exercise after eating it, then it turns into fat and it will gain as weight. So one of the ways that you can avoid that is either when you eat meat, then you exercise 30 minutes after that, or before that in preparation for the protein, because before also works, or eat less meat. It's one of the ways, one of the many, many ways that you can do. Obviously, it doesn't work for everyone, but it's a good general tip. All right. And lastly for me, some Buddha's Delight. Oh, and of course, spring rolls all around. Oh, you gotta have the spring rolls. Yeah.
Dude, I want a spring roll.
I love spring rolls. That last bit gets a small cheer from both Silver and me. Jade Garden makes their spring rolls fresh from scratch, and it really both tastes and shows. We all dig in, and for a moment there's only the sound of food being shoveled into hungry mouths. So how was your day at the store? Silver asks from Willow eventually between mouthfuls. Willow takes a sip of water, smacks her lips, and then answers with a little smile. Long, hard, and ultimately satisfying. Yeah, it was. Her smile turns impish, and there's a glint in her eye, and she adds, throwing a glance at Silver. So, just like a good stallion. What? Really? Oh shit, they went the same way that I did! I was literally like... Damn! I swear to Celestia, I will wash that potty mouth of yours with soap, missy, replies the unicorn whilst frowning in disapproval at the mischievous mare. Unperturbed, Willow pushes on. And like after a stallion, I'm going to need a shower. A very, very long one. Jesus. That last bit she caps off with a weary sigh that sounds like it comes from the very bottom of her soul. Oh yeah, it's Friday, isn't it? I say, trying to suppress a smirk, whilst the considerably red-cheeked Silver continues to glare daggers at Willow, clearly not approving of such crass language at the dinner table. Oh, stop being such a prude, Silver. The day when the unwashed masses shuffle from their lairs into the store to play some Friday night magic. I know, right? Willow whines, throwing a forlorn look at the ceiling. I swear, half of them must be allergic to soap or something. Thank Buck John has me stationed at the front counter these days rather than working at the gaming area in the back. The funk is more tolerable there. I grimace inwardly. The reason the manager of our friendly local gaming store, John, has Willow working the front counter every Friday, maybe because there are a bunch of MLP fans that go into the gaming store, and makes a point of being very visibly there himself too, is there was an incident a couple months back. One customer, probably not used to seeing talking pastel ponies, got handsy with Willow like she was a damn pet or a mascot or whatever. John luckily saw the whole thing, threw the guy out, and told him never show his face there again. I still fully intend to get John a bottle of whiskey for Christmas. The rest of the meal passes mostly uneventfully, though I do make Silver tell Willow about his little social mistake, which has Willow laughing so hard she actually falls off her chair. So, I begin after we finish with our meals. How much do I owe you with the food? Willow, for the food. Willow just waves a hoof dismissively in the air. I don't worry about it. My treat. And yes, I had been planning on it being my treat since the beginning. Willow, come on, I try to plead with her. We stare at each other in a silent duel of wills for a few heartbeats before she gives an exasperated roll of her eyes and sighs. Fine. If you're really Tartarus bent on paying me back for the food, then how about you brush my mane when I'm done with my shower, A favor for a favor. I sigh in defeat and nod, curling one corner of my mouth upwards into a little lopsided smile. She's obviously not going to be taking my money no matter what I say or do. Fine, you drive a hard bargain. 1 thorough mane brushing for the dinner. Deal. She extends a hoof over the table, and I bump it. And now I'm off to the shower. Are we going to watch some movies afterwards? Something light and funny after a hard day would be nice. Silver nods. Sure. I'm game. In fact, I think I know just the movie. About time you two were introduced to the works of Mel Brooks. Wait, what does Mel Brooks make? I'm not connecting with that.
He's the guy who made movies like Robin Hood Men in Tights, Blazing Saddles, the more satirical movies.
I
Spaceballs.
love Men in Tights. Men in Tights is great.
So
That's
does
awesome.
Colin.
Okay, emotional support pony is hilarious, and I love it so much. Wait, we got to finish the chapter first. Willow smiles at me and nods, trotting then off towards the bathroom. Hey, Willow, try not to use all the hot water, okay? I need a shower too, Silver calls after her. I mean, you could always, just save water. Go together. She stops, turns to look over her shoulder, gives Silver a sultry grin, and waggles her eyebrows. You could always... Wait, am I Willow? Am I Willow? Is this what's happening right now? Am I...
Andy.
I'm feeling... No. I is Andy, of course. I mean, like, I'm preempting
Okay.
Willow's dialogue before it happens. This is,
Okay.
This is another sign that it's very naturally written, that the dialogue follows itself very well. So this is good. This is good. You have tapped into the reader's mind, Fable. You have correctly summed up what the average person would be thinking of if they were in this kind of mindset, which is very, very, this tells me this is another really good element of it being...
put you into that mindset.
Yeah, for sure. Silver, in that adorable manner of his, blushes beet red before clearing his throat and composing himself once more. Just bang already, you know? Come on. You're just trying to get me to wash your mane for you. Oh, I see through your schemes, missy. You may have finagled Andy to be your beauty slave, but you won't get me that easily. Darn, foiled again. I'll get you next time, Silver. Next time, she replies, shaking a hoof at him theatrically and then giving a melodious little laugh, which Silver reciprocates before heading off towards the bathroom once more. You're both such goofballs, you know that, right? I say, a big old grin plastered onto my face as well. So, there's a tone difference here, which I think is interesting. This is written... The way that I feel... We're going to take a break, and then I'll catch up on chat, and we'll keep going. The way that I feel it's written is very... How do I put this? Kiddish? Like, it's written very innocently. Hold on, I'm getting to the other stuff, but like the underlying tone is very it's not serious. It's very lighthearted, but it's very like oh god. Like a kids show, but then you've got like sex jokes, like very, very blatant, like suggestive behavior and stuff as well, on top of the dialogue that does feel very like opposite in tone to what the other thing is, and it makes for a very interesting combination. I'm having trouble describing it fully, but I'm hoping someone else knows what I'm talking about and can maybe word it in a better way. It's interesting, yeah. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I mean, like, it is interesting to read because it feels like there should be very, like, you know, bubbly, cheerful music in the background, very like cliche type of sitcom stuff, and like almost old-timey dialogue when one character looks at the other and goes, "Oh, you goofball," and then there's like that, and then there's a laugh track in the background. But then at the same time, they're also like, "You should come and shower with me," and it's yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting combination. I like it. It's giving me like 90s TV series. Yes, it feels like a 90s show. Yeah, it does feel like a 90s show for sure. I was just about to say that it feels like an episode of like WandaVision or something. But then WandaVision was also going back to those 90s shows. So then yeah, like a 90s 80s show. It's very cool. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I am also enjoying everything about this. Absolutely. Ah, Miss Alfred loves Gilmore Girls? My sister is a big fan of Gilmore Girls. My mom as well.
You
Ah,
got the
Taters.
makeup palette for it too.
Taters wants to know. Taters wants to know how to play Magic. Maybe you can teach us both, Alfred, because I'm also like surface level
If you got time after the stream and they feel like hopping in,
Oh, this stream I do not, but maybe later.
I can teach you later.
Yeah, I'm loving this so far. I'm not sure if I have enough time to finish all of it, Fable. I have the scroll wheel is very small. But let's see. I feel like yeah, okay, no, it's not because there are comments down at the bottom, so it actually might be shorter than we think. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. By the time Silver is done with his shower, Willow's mane is dry enough for me to brush. I sit on the couch with Willow sitting on the floor between my legs. Silver hops onto the couch, pads around in a circle once, and then settles down, leaning against my side. Though a bit surprising, I'm once again not adverse to the closeness. Hey, I bet he's looking for some more scritches after I'm done with Willow's mane, the sly little unicorn. I'm on the final stretch. Okay, sick. I hope you'll enjoy this one, I say as I hit the play button and Mel Brooks' Robin Hood. Men in Tights! Men in Tights! Yes! Men in Tights mentioned! Men in Tights mentioned! Incredible. I've seen the movie plenty of times already, so I'm only half paying attention to what's happening on the screen. Most of my focus is on running the brush through Willow's silky mane, slowly and gently working out all the tangles until her mane flows through the brush almost like water. Can I have this done, please? Because my mane has knots in it every single day, and it is probably the worst part of my day. Okay, hold on. The task is, however, made a bit harder by her practically doubling over in laughter from time to time. Not that I can blame her for that. Is it the chastity belt? Because that's what made me laugh. Eventually, though, I reach a point where I'm satisfied with my work, and I give her shoulder a pat. All done. Would you like me to brush your tail while I'm at it? She flashes me a smile and nods. Well, sure, if it's not too much trouble. I shrug and she hops onto the couch too, laying down on her side and flicking her tail onto my lap. Just as before, I diligently get to work, teasing out all the tangles, whilst being careful not to let the brush pull on her tail. Well, maybe I should get you to do this more often, Willow exclaims suddenly. I turn to look at her and I see that she's running a tentative hoof along her mane to see how it feels, and she seems positively surprised and quite pleased at what she finds. Wait, if you have a hoof, how are you able to feel how untangled your mane is? You don't have fingers. Gah. Continuity error.
Magic.
Maybe I should have him work on my mane too, Silver quips. Maybe I should start charging for the service per brush stroke. I throw back at the both of them, a wry grin on my lips. Willow titters into her hoof. Silver chuckles, and even I can't keep myself from laughing a bit. The word titter is such a funny thing for me because it always makes me feel like someone's going, like, which I imagine is the same thing because I've just realized I sound a bit like a horse now. But it just, yeah, this is incredibly 80s. Good to know I've got potential job prospects available if I ever want to emigrate to Ponyland. On the TV screen, Little John, Blinken, Achoo, and the others sing the titular song of the movie, We're Men in Tights! I finish my work on Willow's tail a few minutes later, and after a cursory inspection of it, she hums in approval and gives me a nod. Consider your dinner paid in full. Placing the brush on the coffee table, I give her a theatrical little bow in return. I aim to please. And just as I suspected, almost as soon as I lean back to enjoy the film, Silver shuffles to lay on his side with his head on my thigh. Who am I to deny such an obvious request? I lay my hand onto his neck and the unicorn lets out a content little coo. Just like before, I start to idly scritch his neck. And, running my nails lightly through his short, smooth fur. Movement in my peripheral vision makes me take a quick glance towards the pony laying curled up on my other side. Willow's tail is swishing every now and again, almost as if she was agitated by something, and I noticed her eyes flicking from the TV screen to Silver time and again. Wait. Getting a pretty good idea of what's going on, I turn my head slightly towards her, much enough that she notices it. She blushes as she realizes she's been caught, but I just give her a reassuring smile, lift my other hand to show I've still got one free if she wants in on this. She stares at me for a while, and in those large eyes of her I can see pretty clear signs of some kind of an internal debate or struggle going on. She bites her lower lip and looks away from me for just a few seconds before standing up and shuffling over, laying then down in a way that mirrors Silver. I have no idea what that was about. Maybe she's just embarrassed about the whole thing. If I was committing some kind of grave social faux pas, Silver would have told me about it before, I'm sure. Either way, once she's settled all nice and snug, I get to work on her neck as well. I can feel her tensing at first upon making contact, but that quickly melts away as I scritch her just behind the left ear. "Ooh, that is nice," she exclaims. "Told you," Silver sing-songs in return, lifting his head just a bit to flash the Pegasus a toothy grin. I have to say, I usually skip this part. Anyway, continuing. By the end of the movie, they are both sound asleep on my lap. Not that I can blame them. Both Silver and Willow have had a long day, and indeed, long week of work, making sure they get to keep this wonderful house they have found for themselves. They're making something of themselves, contributing to society. Unlike... No. I refuse to let myself go down that path a second time today. Screw you, brain. You had your sulky time already, now sit down and shut up. My resolve thus galvanized, I shift my focus back onto the two equines snoozing on me. They look so peaceful, and looking at them I feel kind of at peace myself. With those two crazy, wonderful ponies as my friends, I just know things will be all right. I will be all right. And I was kind of scared of this one, just in case it was a picture at the end, because I feel like it is. I scrolled past it accidentally the first time, and I made sure not to focus on it. So now I'm hoping there's a thing. Hey, wait, they're so much smaller than I thought. I thought they were full-size horses. What do you mean? I have been like reading these stories thinking that they are like the size of like actual ponies, like big. Like bigger than Great Danes kind of vibes, and that this whole thing is just this monstrous. Like that's how I think of them.
MJ, how big do you think a pony is?
I didn't know that a pony was like that small. I was thinking like not the same size as a horse. I know they're smaller than horses, but I thought that they were like bigger than this.
To be fair, I think they are just a little bit bigger than that.
Okay, cool. This is still very cute,
but
though.
That's pretty close.
I like this. This is very cute. That is a very nice ear shape for Willow Song. Ah, that's lovely. That's very, very nice. Also, feet for free? Damn, Fable. They're about hip-high on the shoulders compared to an average adult. Okay, cool. Listen, this is a very, very cute picture. Did you draw this yourself? Is this something you commissioned, or did you draw it yourself? Because if you drew it yourself, this is very impressive. And also, this does raise another question for me. There's a lot of, like, pet-ish vibes that I get from a lot of these. So, there must be a distinction, right? Like, the community does draw a distinction that... Is the line... How blurred is the line between pet and, like, companion with full agency? Because it feels like when I read the story feels like they're just people. But I guess it's like... But this gives me the picture. If I didn't have the story... as context, the picture is like, oh, cool, these are just like pet ponies, you know? But I'm curious about that. The artist made them a little bit too small. They should be a little bit bigger. Oh, okay. Well, still, it is a very cute picture. It's a commissioned piece. Okay, cool. Tell Mrs. A that I hated who she ended up with in a Yittle. Sure. And think she deserved to be with someone who loved and appreciated who she was, how she was. What show is this? Gilmore Girls?
Gilmore Girls.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Pets don't talk and hold jobs. No, true. No, for sure. And that's what I mean. Like, if I, like, reading the story as context, of course, that's different. But I was just talking about this picture on its own. The ponies are just like people, but they are more casual about touchy-feely stuff. Yes, it does feel that they are more, like, openly affectionate. I mean, I am an openly affectionate person as well, of course. In fact, I was reading a lot of this, and I was like, I like a lot of this. No, it's definitely sentience. It definitely feels like they're sentient, yes. Yeah, I'm not sure what Aetl is either, Taters. But this was lovely. It was only well after I'd written it when I realized that Celestia's sun-kissed throne can be understood in more ways than one. Oh, because Celestia is also a person. Ah, cool. Okay, listen, Fable, that was incredible. That was such a lovely understanding of tone and genre and style and dialogue. What I really enjoyed the most was that when characters spoke, they spoke with consistency. That's something that can really keep you going through a story. When characters say words that kind of go outside what they would usually say, it can throw the reader off without them really realizing what they were doing or what's going on. But with this dialogue, it has this magical touch of being very natural to the characters who are speaking. They never say something that sounds out of place for them. You'll notice that what you've done here is that each character has their own little phrases, like Silver uses buddy a lot, and I can't remember, but there was something that Willow said that I wanted to talk about as well. But basically they have their own turns of phrase that are kept consistent throughout the story, and that is what makes things smoothly read. That's what makes reading go smoothly. It makes for smooth reading and easy reading if you have, on top of all the other elements, but you also have dialogue that flows in a way that makes sense. It's really, really, really cool. Yeah, I relate the most to Willow, to be honest. Yeah, I think it was also such a very easily digestible way of understanding how you know, struggling mental health can infect us and have a moment of we can have a moment of weakness in a rough day, and you can have those intrusive thoughts, those invasive thoughts. And I thought there's such a simply digestible thing that has been written for us here. And I feel the same is true for the whole story. There is the story itself really does feel like just a slice of life. It feels that there's no sort of arc in the story. It really is just a flat line, just a couple of bumps in and about the place. But if you were to ask if there was a somewhat of a climax, it would be when Andy is like having that intrusive thought and then he communicates about it to Silver, which would be a climax if there was going to be any. But to me, the whole story feels like just a complete continued line of just naturally occurring life, which is what a slice of life piece does, which again is another clear indication that you've understood what you're writing. And I just really, really appreciate that there is such a deep understanding of the genre here. Nothing took me out of it. Nothing felt like we were switching up too much. The tone shifts felt natural and organic. I'm gonna praise the dialogue again because I just can't get enough of it. And I thought this was wonderful. And I think everyone here did as well. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I thought it was incredible. This is a very, very lovely, lovely piece of writing. So thank you, Fable. Oh shit, there's a sequel as well? Damn. I shall read that when it's up. Yeah, I really enjoyed this evening. Friday evening well spent. Yes, Saturday morning well spent for me as well. Yes, I was actively aiming for that. MJ, glad to hear I succeeded. Just a slice of life with a bit of world building sprinkled in. I did like the random lore we got, like how the pony portal opened up in Stonehenge, of all places. Maybe the recent spraying from Just Stop Oil onto Stonehenge is the thing that stopped the pony portal from opening. Maybe if it wasn't for climate activists, that we would actually have My Little Pony magical ponies running around. I don't know. We'll never know. Yeah. Fable, this was excellent. Absolutely excellent. Also, I hate the fact that my Spotify keeps pausing because it thinks I'm streaming Spotify to Discord. Shh. I'm not. I promise, Spotify. I was literally typing about the spraying. We shared a brain cell. Also, this is supposed to take place somewhere in Sweden. Oh, really? Anders and Eric didn't tip everyone off enough? I don't think you needed to tell us that. I don't know what tipped me off beside the very obvious Swedish names. Alrighty. Yeah, I'd love to hear all of your thoughts about this if you have any others. I'm done. I've given my full analysis of this. Any more that I say would just be repetition of the same thing. I just really enjoyed it. So thank you, Fable, for that. Also, if you do feel like revealing yourself at any time soon, at any point, I'm sure you can be like convinced that everyone here is 100% in support of your writing. Nigel Farage be having a meltdown over the illegal immigrants from a whole other universe. He'd pop a vein. I mean, I also found, interestingly, in this story, there is a line of, like, ponies being treated like immigrants. It's very interesting. I really enjoyed the sort of sneaking in of that whole, like, yeah, ponies emigrated from Ponyland, or Equestria, I think it's called. And then they kind of just had to assimilate and stuff. I'm sure there's a fanfic out there in the MLP world about how ponies are persecuted for being immigrants. I'm pretty sure there must be. Someone must be using that to write about that. It was intentional that Andy's face is not shown in the picture. I think mainly because we can insert ourselves into Andy's position, right? Just like your strategy with the previous story that we, when there was no gender revealed for any of the characters in the story, and we could just assign our own as we see fit. I think that might have been the strategy for this story, that we could, like, insert ourselves into Andy because we feel what he might feel with the intrusive thoughts and the insecurities and stuff. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, I got that then. Also, I noted that the body is not shown particularly masculinely or femininely. It just feels it does feel a bit like a mix, to be honest. So I do think that you could probably put anyone onto the body. Yeah. Pause. Feel free to reveal yourself to me. Reveal yourself. Has that just become a reflex now? What, pause? Yes, I've started adding it to my daily vocabulary just so that, because pause is such a nice way of getting across that, yes, I have thought of a different way that sentence could apply, and no, I don't want to talk about it, and we can just move on. You just say pause, and then you keep going. It's great.
It's just so perfect.
It's a wonderful way to illustrate it, yeah. At last, we reveal ourselves to the Jedi. Yes, exactly. Ugh, Fable, that was a lovely, lovely, lovely story. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate it. And if you, person in chat, have any reading that you would like me to do, please feel free to post it on the Discord. And if you're not part of the Discord, either join or send me an email, because I do have an email address. If you have something to read that you would like me to, please make sure to send to contact me. You can post it on YouTube, you can DM me, and on any of the social media platforms that I'm on. I would love to read all of the stuff that you have. So even if you're not part of the Discord, there are still ways that you can contact me. Alfred, you should finish your writing.
Unless you want to read the same 4 pages again.
No, I'm good.
Because I'm still just polishing that up for some reason instead of moving on. I don't know why.
Honestly, polishing is good. Actually, no. If you're polishing it, if you're actually changing it, I'd be quite happy to read it and compare.
It does have a new intro.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I decided to scrap a storyline.
Just make sure not to spend too much time on one thing. It might be a good idea to just write a bunch of very broadly written other things and then kind of slowly come back to it.
Yeah. That's not where my brain's at right now.
That's fair. Both this story and Worth at the previous story technically do take place in the same world where a portal opened in Stonehenge. Ruby Rose is another equestrian immigrant. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Maybe now this will be the motivation I need to finish the sequel. I hope so. I hope so. I think it was lovely. Just know that you have at least 5 other fans of your work in here. Out of the 2,500 people, holy shit, who read your work, which is awesome. Ruby Rose, the Doctor Who companion? Yeah. Oh.
Did I mention that before Alex did?
That is a good point.
Slacking.
Alex, you're slacking. The same world that probably doesn't have Nigel Farage in it because he had a stroke finding out immigrants from another universe were here. Yes, he died. Oh.
Could you imagine how much better off this world would be if there just was a portal that opened to the Ponyverse?
Wait, how much better the world would be?
Oh, dude, the world would be so much better.
I mean, maybe, but if there was going to be a portal that opened up to any universe, like, can we have Star Wars first? Because I'll be jumping through that shit today. If
You'd
that
rather have
happened...
Star Wars and Star Trek?
Okay, right. Star Wars for lightsabers and the Force, right? For magic, okay? Star Trek for politics. I wouldn't, like, yeah. So I guess maybe Star Trek. Probably Star Trek. If I was gonna live, I suppose. But there's just something so... It's the fact that I've connected to Star Wars for, like, my whole life that I would want to go there.
Totally,
for sure.
Totally valid.
I'm pretty sure it'd be way happier. What, the Ponyverse? Yeah, it does sound way happier. I mean, it's called Friendship is Magic. I don't think they live under, you know, like, global imperialism in Ponyland. Unless they do. Maybe there's a magical pony dictator. Maybe there is... maybe there are evil ponies. Are there evil ponies in My Little Pony?
There are evil ponies.
Oh, shit.
As far as I remember, really hold a position of power, however.
Damn. Wait, I think the MLP word is communist. What is My Little Pony communist? I'm sure this will turn out really good results. Is My Little Pony communist propaganda, says someone on Quora. Someone with a BSc in biochemistry. Okay, we're gonna read what someone says about about My Little Pony. So here we go. This will be your bonus. Let's go back to reading. This will be your bonus, legumes and gentle beans. We're going to read about exactly what makes My Little Pony anti-communist, apparently. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there are villains. Of course there are villains in a cartoon show. No, for sure, yeah. There are evil ponies, but they're beaten by showing them the error of their ways and helping them to learn and do better. That's nice. Okay, well, let's see how someone might think. Is My Little Pony communist propaganda? Firstly, terrible question. Secondly, terrible answer. In fact, Friendship is Magic, aka FIM, or Generation 4, by far the most popular generation of My Little Pony, is overtly anti-communist. It is unironically one of the most right-wing popular children's TV shows that has ever existed. Wow.
There's
Wow.
no, this is not satire.
Okay, whoa. Okay, we're gonna read about it. I'm judging it too harshly in the beginning. We're gonna figure out what it means. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is colonialist. Yo! Throughout the series, the Kingdom of Equestria grows and influences surrounding societies. One episode focuses on pony settlers taking over the land of native bison and them having to learn to live together peacefully. The solution chosen is to reserve some land for the bison while still allowing the settlers to expand. Yo! Separate but equal? In My Little Pony? Oh, shit!
Wait, what?
Like, indigenous reserves? In My Little Pony? That's crazy.
Wait, where was this? Hold on, let me read this.
Fable, we're not taking this seriously at all. I just find this fascinating. Okay, alright, let's try again. Militarist. Rainbow Dash's main ambition at the start of the series is to join the Wonderbolts, which is effectively the Equestrian Air Force. They have an Air Force? Several episodes follow her progression through military training. Partially as a result of this, there's a specific military community within the Brony fandom called FOB Equestria. Forward Operating Base Equestria. Yo. Oh, God. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Okay, cool.
Before we continue on,
Yes.
I just want to let you know I got a DM from Moose.
Yes.
It is a picture of the voice chat with the stream preview saying the fuck. I'm like, oh, my name? Because of what you changed my name to the last stream. And he's like, no, the stream preview. Because it's still showing the art.
Wait, what art? What art is it showing? Oh, the pony art.
With the two ponies.
Moose thinks we're reading MLP Smut? Yes. Tell him we are. Tell him we're reading MLP Smut. Tell him it's complete not safe for work fanfic. Alright, that's a bad episode from the first season. Oh boy. Check what I DM'd you? Okay. Equestria is a communist utopia, and I will tell you why. Okay, please send me the link to that post, Taters. I would love to read that in response to whatever this is. So let's read about this. Particularist. Different cities within Equestria and different surrounding kingdoms and tribes have unique cultural and social identities and values. Valuing peace and friendship is promoted across all regions, but each location is otherwise culturally very different and not pressured to change. It's similar to the Seven Kingdoms in Game of Thrones. Even though some ideas and traditions are shared between groups, they're often interpreted in different ways. This is not anti-communist. Okay, this is from a misunderstanding of the theory of communism, which states that everyone must be the same. You have the same toothbrush and the same sofa and the same TV and the same car. It could not be further from the truth. Cultures are allowed to individually thrive. Of course they are. Communism is an economic system. It is political economic. It is not an attempt to shut down like cultural expression or anything. If anything, the current economy shuts down cultural expression. So yeah, this I will disregard. But for the rest of it, it's looking pretty dodge. Predestinist. Ah, like predestination? Cutie marks are symbols which appear on the flanks of ponies, which represent their destiny and or special talents. Oh yeah, the libertarian take. Like people are born as superheroes and they're inherently more special than other people, and then the society oppresses them and stuff. Very interesting. The protagonist's cutie marks are representations of
the cutie mark.
This is well, what we're gonna see. The protagonist's cutie marks are representations of the elements of harmony, which give them unique powers and abilities to promote friendship and fight against evil. Unicorns with powerful magic abilities also receive special treatment. There is a distinct ruling class of alicorns who rule the kingdom, live for thousands of years, and have supernatural powers. Alicorns are often treated like gods. Okay. Very interesting. I'm not sure how this is specifically anti-communist, but interesting. Pro-aristocratic. Ooh. The overall rule of Equestria is decided by conquest or inheritance by decree, not popular support. Though local representatives and rulers, mayors, etc., are elected. In some episodes, bureaucrats and politicians are depicted as incompetent and helpless compared to the Alicorn princesses. Though the alicorns and powerful unicorns are also shown to have flaws. Monarchy! Monarchy!
I think this is the only one so far that's actually been pretty accurate.
This is so funny.
That's just because it's describing an element of the show and not.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. That sounds pretty not pro aristocratic to me.
I mean, I love the Aristocats. That's a great movie.
I have not watched that.
Is this my brony arc? Yeah. They got close. The cutie marks do denote a pony's special talent, but they don't in any way shut them out from doing things outside their cutie mark talents. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right, anti-communist. Okay, here we go. One of the major villains creates a cult where all ponies are forced to be equal and to always work for common goals, and their cutie marks are removed. This cult isn't explicitly called communist, but is very obviously based on communism, including Soviet-inspired music and references to the leader's manifesto. Huh? I thought I would just point out at this point that the Soviet Socialist Republic did not achieve communism. And it's really important to understand that. They achieved socialist reform and then turned into a social democracy, which is not socialism or communism. This is not information. This is not affirmation. This is information, right? This is not an opinion. It's a fact. It's not that they never achieved communism, because once the power was accrued at the top, the Marxist-Leninist revolution was undone. And even though the quality of life of many in the Soviet Socialist Republic increased, literacy increased, education increased, everything else went up as well, there was still a very definite concentration of power at the top. It was not decentralized at all, which is one of the most unfortunate parts of, post-Russian Revolution. Something very interesting that you can read about.
All right, I'm gonna clip that really quickly. I'm gonna send that one to my grandma.
So, some of the protagonists are initially sympathetic, but they realize that forced equality is stifling individuality. That's not what communism is. That loss of special talents is harmful to every pony. That's also not what communism is, and that the ponies are being manipulated for personal gain by the leader. Okay, this person does not understand communism. That's fine. It's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person if you don't understand it. A lot of people don't understand it because we've been actively pushed against it. And it requires reading to understand because we have to fight against everything that we've been taught about it. A lot of people will say, like, if communism is so, like, natural, then why do you have to read so much theory to understand it? And the answer is because we've been repressed our entire lives about learning about it. If we were taught it as easily as we were taught other things in school, then we wouldn't have to read so much theory about it because it would be there, accessible for us. While it is politically and economically right-wing, I don't get... I mean, maybe the monarchy and, like, the colonialist stuff is a bit dodge, but everything else is kind of neutral. Friendship is Magic is still progressive. It supports integration of and friendship between different races across the kingdom, though still each with their own independent cultures, as I said in my point about particularism, and portrays homosexuality in a neutral manner. It doesn't make a big deal about it and is not the focus of any episode, but there is a lesbian relationship between two background characters which develops throughout the series. If I had to describe my ideology, I honestly think that Friendship is Magic represents it better than any political party or mainstream real-world ideology. Ah, cool. Wait, are you also a monarchist? Hello? Generation 5, Make Your Mark, is generally a lot more left-wing than Generation 4, but still far from communist propaganda. It's also not very popular and is much more overtly aimed at children than Generation 4, so most My Little Pony material you'll come across online is based on Friendship is Magic. Alrighty. Let's read a little counter for that. Hold on. Yeah, a lot of this is Red Scare, for sure. A lot of that was Red Scare. Starlight Glimmer's Town of Equality is more of an authoritarian cult. For real? Oh my god. Yeah, that was a wild read. Equestria is a communist utopia. Oh, cool, here we go. This was 9 years ago. Oh god. Alright, we're gonna figure this out. Just gonna reset the box. Okay. This is my brony arc. I'm investigating this. We're gonna figure this out together. Hi Reddit, I'm new here and don't know if that's appropriate here. But I have a thought that surprised me so much that I have to share it. But first, some intro. Oh my god, this is a huge post. Okay.
That's not that long.
There's a well-known rhetoric move, one of the many, but very efficient, called strawman. To win an argument, you make a man of straw that resembles your opponent, attribute it some arguments that are easy to beat, and then beat it gloriously. That's a pretty good description of a strawman. There was a Cold War a while ago, held between the USA and its satellites, capitalist world the West, and USSR and its satellites, communist world the socialist camp. It's history now, but not a very distant one. The Cold War wasn't a first lengthy decades-long struggle of superpowers, but one of the first ones where ideology mattered so much. Propaganda machines were working on both sides, and both sides were making a good use of the strawman method. For example, the strawman of communism, known in the US, is that communism is a system where equality is enforced. Correct. Those who don't want to be equal are oppressed, and that's why they can't have good things. I'm gonna say, I'm probably gonna be biased when they talk about capitalist strawman. We'll see. I'm just preparing you now. I might have a bias, but I'm gonna try and be neutral about it. Not neutral. I'm gonna try and be impartial about it. But we are all biased about things. Those who don't want to be equal are oppressed, and that's why they can't have good things. This has little to do with the real thing. Communism is a complex theory, and while it is proven to be wrong, it's not that stupid. Very, very sweeping statement, but anyway. Nevertheless, the cliché still exists in American culture, and even now, 25 years after the end of the Cold War, it's still strong. This part is true. Think of it. When screenwriters used this cliché without even naming it, everyone has recognized it without missing a beat, and identified Starlight Glimmer as a communist dictator, not just a random evil mayor. EQD called her Mayor Marx even before the airing of the episodes. Ah yes, communism is when authoritarianism. We love that. We love to see it. Oh, God. Okay, yeah, so this kind of sucks from the beginning. I hate that people just do not understand it. Anyway, that's amusing, no? It's more frustrating, but okay. Ironically, there actually is a society in MLP world that strikingly resembles classic communist utopias, and it's not Starlight Glimmer's village, it's Equestria. Speaking of communist utopias, chances are that if you're American, you've never read one. But I'm Russian, and I did. By the way, if you're interested, one of the best ones, which still appeals to many, is the Noon universe, described in a cycle of books by Strugatsky brothers, the Soviet sci-fi writers, and named after the first book of the series, Noon, 22nd Century. Interesting. Okay. So, how does an actual communist utopia look like? What is it all about? Okay. This question, it requires years, sometimes decades, of understanding theory and researching to have an answer for it. All right? You have... Oh, because it has so many layers and details to it. The point of being a leftist in this kind of space is that you don't have the answers for everything. You're supposed to get the big stuff right and figure out how you change stuff one thing at a time. But it's not... A lot of people require you, and this resembles quite a frustrating line of thought that I hear a lot of people say. They expect me, for example, or someone else who's talking about, let's say, leftist principles or communist principles. They ask you, what do you feel about this? How do we solve this? How do we solve that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know everything. I know the guiding principles, but I'm not like specifically skilled to deal with this. And the fact that I am expected to be an expert in every aspect, like mundane or otherwise, of whatever ideology I decide to be a part of, whereas the people who are responding can very comfortably sit in the status quo and they don't have to know everything about how their system oppresses them, is a little bit hypocritical to me. And it's very frustrating. So this just kind of reminded me of that. Anyway, continuing. Well, it's mostly about the slogan, which dates back to 1851, from each according to his ability to each according to his need. If you want to describe in one phrase what communism tries to achieve, that's it. This is correct. This is factually true. This is from each according to from ability to need, where everyone gets what they need, as opposed to people getting more stuff because they're better at something. Which still doesn't exist today, by the way. as much as it is marketed to. Okay. I have to say, this is very interesting. Yeah, it's a complex theory that I don't understand. MJ about to write an essay on a 9-year-old Reddit post. No, dude, we're just here to give feedback. We're here to definitively understand if My Little Pony is communist propaganda. Okay. First of all, in a communist utopia, everyone has their needs fulfilled, at least the basic ones. There are no people who have no food or no shelter or no job if they want one. The society does its best to make sure no one is in poverty because, you know, it's very wrong when people are in poverty and struggle to make a living. So far, so good. This is a pretty good understanding of what communism tries to achieve. Bear in mind, communism, I know I said this before, but communism is not a political or economic system. I said that before, I will rephrase. Socialism is a halfway point to communism, which represents itself as a political and economic system. Communism is a state of mind. It is an ideology. It is not a way of organizing the economy. It is a way of being. It is a state of being. In a communist utopia, labor is honorable. Working hard and doing the best job you can do is something to be praised, no matter what your job is, as long as the intentions of you doing that labor are good, of course. Sure, I can get behind that. In a communist utopia, it's encouraged by the society not to act selfish. You aren't alone in that world, so help others act for their good and for the common good, and they will do the same for you. Ayn Randish, act only selfish and that's how you improve the world attitude is not just wrong in such a world, it looks very silly there. Yeah, okay. In a communist utopia, ideas matter. It's a society built around the idea of how the society should work, and that idea is thought to have the power of its own, almost a magical one. Yes, an inherent... guiding principles are inherently valuable here. But I will say, not entirely correct. Communism relies very much on a materialist analysis, which is the opposite of idealism. Communism itself, being an ideal, runs in contradiction to itself in many interesting ways. One of which is that it in itself is an ideal, but it relies on materialist analysis, which lets you analyze the way the world is right now at this moment in reality, not what it could be in the future. You use the ideal to achieve that future, but materialist analysis is what's going on right now in reality with common people. So it's not just about the ideas. In a communist utopia, people love their jobs. Jobs don't... The word job and career is not really thought of in the same way as it would be in what communism would like to achieve. And not because of brainwashing, but because everyone has the job that matches their talents and personal needs. Since the jobs that require robot-like manual labor are taken by actual robots in the perfect future, the art of finding out one's talents is mastered. Every person can do what they love and what they do best. It's up to the person to study and to master their skills, but everyone has an advantage of doing that one thing that they can do best. Some of these things would fall into the category of hobbies, but, well, why not? Yeah, I mean, I can see this. I can see that on a very broad level, essentially you are free to do what you wish, and the balance of society will work it out. But that doesn't mean that you have to love what you do. It simply means that everyone is encouraged to do things that help other people. That's the idea. Last but not least, therefore, in a communist utopia, each person has a chance to unlock their creative potential, and the society, which basically means every other person out there, will help them to do this, to let them offer their creations and the fruit of their labor to others in return. With cooperation. Last but not least, in a communist utopia, wars and social struggles are a distant past. They used to happen long ago, but finally everyone has learned to live together in peace and productive cooperation. I mean, it does say utopia, so as a utopian dream, sure. But communism does not position itself as realistically expecting struggle to end. There will always be struggle in life. Always, always, always. So I think this is important to remember. Doesn't that all ring a bell to you? Look at Equestria. We have a society there which stands on ideas of friendship and harmony, and not the merit of profit or else, where every pony knows from the young age what is his special talent that makes his destiny, and how he can become happy by following that destiny. We have a society that generally does not have poverty or unloved jobs or unfriendly exploitation of others. We have a society that values and praises generosity and readiness to work for the common good. We have a society where integrity and hard work are always rewarded. And we have a world where sticking to the ideas which are right makes you powerful enough to overcome any obstacles. That's it. Equestria isn't a communist state, of
I do just want
course.
to point out
Yeah, go on.
the discrepancy in that last paragraph. Not every pony knows what they're going to do from a young age. There's actually like a group of young ponies, and it's their whole plot is them figuring out what their special talent is and what their cutie marks are going to be.
Ah, okay, okay.
So they actually do have to put in the work to figure out what their talent is.
Right, right. So this is not true. Okay, interesting. Equestria isn't a communist state, of course. It has the market economy and privileged class and all, but ponies of Equestria certainly share the values of that perfect utopian society we can only dream of. So why don't we live in such a world and never will? Why will the noon of the 22nd century never come? Ah, yes. This means, just because it's a utopia, that means we should not strive to achieve anything close to it ever. This is the conclusion of a lot of people, unfortunately. But again, I'm assuming I should read the rest of the post. Well, obviously, we aren't colorful ponies from the magical land of Equestria, that's why. Humans don't work this way. Oh yeah, the human nature argument. Okay, cool. We've spoken about this. I'm not going to beat it to death. We have seen in so many places that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where survival of the fittest, humans are inherently selfish, has been proven wrong time and time again. Maslow himself proved himself wrong. His own assumptions about the selfishness of humanity were proven wrong when he visited the Blackfoot tribe. Indigenous peoples have had this kind of shit worked out a long time before we got there, and we just exterminated all of them. So we have forcibly ensured that these ideas have been weeded out of our society. They were natural and still can be again. Just remember that. The Cutie Mark Crusaders whole thing is about trying to find out what they're good at. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. I remember that human nature is... First of all, human nature is what we make it. But also, very empirically, human nature... can be changed as we move into a modern society, as it has been. But there is also a part of nature, that collaborative aspect of survival that we have, that has remained throughout the modern world. Despite the fact that we don't really act on that as much as we should anymore, that it does not take away the fact that it still persists. And we are still collaborative by nature. As of now, neither we know how to find our destinies that we're able to and will be happy to fulfill, nor can we be happy with what we have and are only happy having more than others have. This is taught behavior, learned behavior. There are no cutie marks to guide us in our life. There's no way to be content with what you have. Yes, there is. Create an economy that does not thrive on jealousy and envy and coveting other people's goods. There is a way. And that's sad, because people and ponies in these utopias seem to be happier than we are. Yes, and we are not doomed to live this. We are choice-based beings. I wish people would understand this. Communist utopia is a dream, but it's a good one. By the way, there's a song that sums up that dream pretty well, and you probably know it. Just listen again and think of it. Wait, is this the Friendship is Magic song? Okay. I'm sure everyone knows that. May Celestia bless us all. I
don't know. It's been so long since I've watched Friendship is Magic. I don't remember the song.
Yeah, by the way, simple. The means of production are privately owned. And yes, if the means of production are privately owned and owned for profit, then it's not communist. Yeah, I think... yeah, ponies are egalitarians. They're not communists. I believe more egalitarian. So they, from what I've read so far, that's what it feels like. Okay. This was a very interesting post. I quite enjoyed this. What a lovely kind of post My Little Pony reading that we learn about the politics behind it. Isn't that lovely? Also, there's a capitalist pony in Ponyville literally called Filthy Rich. Oh my god. There's a pony called Filthy Rich? Really? That's hilarious.
I wouldn't doubt it.
The humans aren't like that thing is basically just racism. Right, so we can talk about this, right? If you think about... And people get very sensitive about this. So I want to preface this by saying that there are no good or bad people. We make choices and we are held accountable for those choices. It's not a cut and dry way of looking at the world. Context matters, right? And it's not black and white. So people make choices that are good or bad, and then we react according to those choices, right? The choices that we as a society have made have led to us dismissing the idea of collaboration and cooperation as a species, and therefore we view it as not human nature. The tragedy of that reality is that we are, by nature, collaborative and collective creatures, and this can be proven by looking at every other society, almost, except the dominant ones right now, that existed on that basis of collaboration and cooperation, which were forcibly exterminated by the dominant society. That is why we are where we are today, and I'm specifically talking about the West, because I have the most experience talking about that ideology. This has led to us believing over a couple of generations that we are meant to be like this, that this is the natural state of being. But it's not. You notice that this thing that we've created has to continually justify its own existence. That in itself proves that it is not an inherent thing. It's not the state, and the people who hold power right now have to constantly convince us, or try to convince us, that it's the way that things are supposed to be. That is inherent proof that it does not deserve to exist, because it cannot justify itself. That ties very much into an anarchist school of thought. Anarchists believe that if a system cannot justify itself, and cannot lean on things that justify its own existence, it must be dismantled and a new system must be created. That is what anarchists believe at their core. What I'm trying to say is that we realize that what is actually in our nature has been rooted out and exterminated by those who would not see it disrupt their power balance. And that leads to the fact that once you see the pattern of who was exterminated and who was not, and what groups the exterminated belonged to, you start to realize that a lot of those lines were drawn along color, or along nationality, or along religious belief, or along cultural belief. And you will see that the tendency of the imperialist to wipe out those who believe in collaboration and the element of human nature of cooperation was done in a racist way. So when you start thinking about how human nature is this way, human nature is that way, try to remember that what you might be basing your guiding principles on is racism, essentially. That doesn't make you a bad person. There are no good or bad people. But it's something to think about. It's something to remember. There are also charlatan ponies, and the charlatans are called Flim and Flam. Oh my god. That's hilarious.
The names are amazing in the show.
Alrighty. Then I think that's about it. I will end on that note, but thank you, Fable. Thank you once again for a wonderful story, a wonderfully written tale. I really, really enjoyed it. Once again, all the stuff that I said before stands. I think you just have a flawless example, sort of grip, rather, on what the genre and what the style and what the tone should look and read and feel like. And I really, really, really enjoyed everything about it, so thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you, Alferg, for being here and for providing your insights and for keeping me company today. I appreciate that as well. I'm going to go now so that I can clean my house in preparation for guests. I have some friends coming over, and I will see you. I will see you another time. The sequel I promised is shaping up to be about 11,000 words, so a bit longer than this one was. Damn, that's crazy. All right, goodbye, Alferg. Have a lovely day. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And for the rest of you, it's been a lovely stream. Thank you for joining me for a nice chilled time. Thanks for the political stuff at the end. Of course, we enjoy learning about this kind of stuff, so it's always nice to It's always nice to kind of educate each other about that, so I hope that you've come away from this having learned something. If you're interested and you want to learn more, please do some theory reading. Please read up about the communist theory of My Little Pony. And it's really, really important, by the way, with a lot of media we consume, to look at it with an analytical eye like this and see what systems are being, like, leaned on for the media and stuff. Very, very interesting. It helps us get a better understanding of how our world is shaped. And so on that note, it is 28 minutes past 12 in the afternoon. It is just past noon. Thank you, Fable. Keep posting them. We are enjoying the reading. And if you have more reading that you would like to submit, please do so on our Discord, or find another way to contact me. My DMs are open in lots of social media platforms. You can go find me there. With that said, I will see you in roughly 10 hours from now, where we play Mass Effect 3 once again. We are nearing the end. It's the second half of the Citadel DLC, and we're going to be talking to all our crew and probably crying a little bit. So bring some tissues, and I hope to see you there. Make sure that you are hydrated, that you drink plenty of water, be kinder to yourself than you're currently being, and I'll see you all in the next stream, where we do it all over again. Take care.